So I suppose, graduating from physio, I had an interest in athletics myself, and I sort of put myself in a situation where I started training for 800 metres and putting myself around some pretty good coaches and other athletes and making an attempt to qualify for the Olympics in 2000 and 2004.
Wow.
So
Cool.
I embarked on a bit of a training journey. And sort of after my initial sort of 4 years of physio down in Hobart in Tasmania, going through normal sort of hospital rotations and that, I started to sort of find that I might be needing a new area to focus on. So randomly I met a couple of the Kenyan guys at an athletics meet in Hobart, did some pacemaking for one of them and got chatting, and then all of a sudden came up with an idea, look, I might just fly to Kenya. And
This is the runners, the sprinters.
the runners, yeah. So all the 800,
Wow.
1500 metre, 5,000, even 10,000 metre runners.
Wow.
So
Because those guys are best on the planet, right? I mean, you don't
They
beat
are.
Kenyans at running.
yeah, most of them are sort of, part Olympic record holders or Olympic champions, world record
Wow.
holders. So anyway, so I took 6 month leave without pay off my job and just followed a bit of a gut instinct and flew to Kenya on the same flight with these guys. And just arrived in Kenya with them, went up to one of the training camps and ended up being there for 4 months at about 2,700 metres above sea level.
Whoa.
So we trained at that altitude for 4 months.
It's
And
almost a kilometre higher than the highest mountain in Australia.
in Australia, yeah, exactly. So when I arrived there, walking up the stairs with my pack, took me a few stops just to get up the stairs. And that journey was pretty incredible. Like, working with these athletes, within a few weeks, I'd treated a few of their injuries, and by that stage, like, their manager had approached me to come on board and basically work with them as their physio for the next, 4 to 6 months, which was, a great opportunity. So clearly I said yes, and dropped some of
What
my
year was
personal
this?
pursuits. This was in 1996.
Okay,
So this was leading up to the Atlanta
Yep.
Olympics in 1996. So I had a chance to train with them, physio for them in the afternoons. We're at the training camp, go to Nairobi, do the Olympic trials or watch the Olympic trials with them. And then they happened to then fly me to London. I spent 2 months in London working with them, timing them at the track, driving them around, working on them in the afternoons. And then that experience finished after 6 months. Then I flew back to my normal life in Hobart.
How'd you go as racing? Could you keep pace with them?
I could keep pace with them for
Yep.
part of the session. They did 2 laps, I did 1 lap, things like that. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I think some of my energetic experience started with sort of running with a group of runners and just feeling the energy that that these guys have when they go on long runs, and the group camaraderie that they have in these training sessions is
wow.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So that sort of started me on a bit of a journey, sort of working out, I suppose with my physio career, like where I wanted to be. And I was used to treating injuries, from the standard sort of hands-on approach, and I wanted to develop that. But I sort of became acutely aware that the strength model was not really there. And I sort of embarked then on sort of looking at doing a Pilates training and getting that sort of side going. And after doing the whole thing again in 1997, going back to Kenya, being a whole 6 months there before the 1997 World Champs, having a chance to watch Kathy Freeman actually win the World Champs in Athens from lane 1 was pretty incredible to watch, as well as watching the Kenyan guys. So I did the whole thing again and came back, got a job in Melbourne, and I decided to land myself in one of the best Pilates studios in Melbourne, which was called DMA, working with Craig Phillips. And I spent 4 years, working with him, trying to almost fill this bit of a void I sensed that was within physio, that we needed this specialised rehab approach, using all the evidence-based practice that we know as physios, and putting in the exercise rehab model, which was the Pilates thing that I sort of started to learn.